I talked to people in the Discord about this today. You weren't around for it, though. You might have seen it, but you weren't around to talk about it. Do you think a lot of people were hoping that Starfield would be, not only were they hoping it would be good, they were hoping to be a return for Xbox. I think it's both of those things, but a lot of people were hoping it would be a generational title. It is too early to say definitively if it is or not, because it just came out, but are you feeling like it is? Because I'm feeling like it's some of Bethesda's best work, and by that means a very, very, very good game. But to me, it doesn't seem like anything I haven't played before. So I'm leaning towards it's not a generational title. You can define what you think that means, a generational title. But how do you feel?
I can see it both ways. I think in terms of it landing as a generational title, it has to, like, the legacy for what it does for Xbox will be what makes it so. I think, and less the game in terms of what it's offering and more just what it does for the brand and how it can give them a lot of momentum. Like, is Starfield the real turning point for Xbox having their true comeback? Is that something we look back on in time, like a year from now, a couple years from now, and say, this is where they finally turned it around and everything from there was mostly on the up? But in terms
do you think the game itself will influence other games developments or not really?
It's always possible. It's just a more wait and see thing, but I don't know yet. I mean, I haven't played enough to really say if I feel like it'll be generational in terms of like what is there contextually. But I mean, even I forgot to say this, but even the stuff that's sort of like a little, as I'm claiming at least, bait and switched a little with some of the exploration and stuff, everything that I've heard that people have stated as a criticism gets me more excited about the game, because I don't have to deal with as much sensory overload and getting myself like lost here, lost there. I feel like it reins me in a little bit more, and for who I am as a player. So I feel that kind of stuff has gotten me more excited. But I don't mind though that anyone thinks it's generational. I don't mind that anyone is thinking it's a 10 right now. Everyone's in that hyperbole state of like, I can't truly get a rating on it because I'm having fun. So if I'm having fun, if I love it, it's a 10. And as much as that drives me happiness, as much as it drives me nuts, seeing everyone happy is more worth it in the end.
Yeah. All right. I got 5% battery left on my phone, but I got Wesley's 3-minute clip. So let's hear from Wesley, and then He
sent this in just as we were messaging about getting the podcast started. So this is cool.
Yeah. So here we go. This is our boy Wesley.
Hey guys, it's Wes. And I got some bullet points for you guys. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. But Brian and I had actually been talking today already about is Starfield a generational game? And I kind of landed on the side of, well, maybe it's too early to say that.
I think he's right.
But I totally get his argument of, well, if the pieces are there, it doesn't really matter how far along we are. You can kind of look at the pieces, the experience that you're getting, and judge it off of that. So I guess still for me though, I'm willing to wait and see.
I think you're right, Wesley. Definitely too early to say.
Is going to grab hold of a game like this. So at least in that respect, I think the jury is still out. But I had a couple of other interesting thoughts. One of them is that, like, I know Brian and I are, we agree that Fallout 4 is a good game. And I see a lot of Fallout 4 in Starfield. Obviously the base building.
Yeah, I see that.
How that's carried over to ships.
Sure.
But I also think
gunplay,
like the gun mods, the weapon mods, all that stuff. That seems pretty obvious. I think Fallout 4 was a really good foundation for them, gameplay-wise. But they fixed, it looks like they really went after these things hard. They fixed major complaints with the dialogue system. They went back to a more RPG style dialogue system,
100%.
which I just think is great. It's not super deep, but it's more than serviceable. It's fun. They gave you the zoom in, on people's faces like Oblivion.
Yeah,
love it.
Really, that's
half the battle.
RPGs throughout history have given you the text box and a good view of the person's face that you're talking to. So love that. I'm not very far, so gameplay for me is still pretty basic, just with guns. But that's been great for me so far. Exploration is obviously top notch. Characters great. I think the Constellation members are really interesting. I've really only talked to the ones that can be like full-fledged followers, but they're pretty cool to me. I like them.
Yep.
So it seems like your typical Bethesda experience all around. I'm having a blast with it.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it's the next Skyrim or anything like that yet. And it probably won't be. The more I think about it, the more I think that maybe Skyrim was just sitting at the center of a lot of perfect things going on.
Crossed a bunch of paths at the same time.
Sweet spot. So time will tell. But it's not a bad game by any means. I think it's Bethesda's third best game easily for me. So having a great time, sitting around 20 hours, hoping to get a lot more in. So I hope that's useful. Hope that's helpful.
It is.
Always love the opportunity to talk to you guys. Peace.
Love Wesley. I agree with everything you said. Nothing there. I mean, I think at the beginning when he said about the whole generational title thing, like my point to him as he iterated was, playing 20 hours of the game, I've seen how building works, ship combat works, traversing, gunplay, quest, persuasion, skill tree. Like I've seen all the systems that play and how they work together. So for me, and what I think people define it differently. For what I define a generational title is a game that other developers are going to look at and then iterate on and copy for years to come. We've seen that with Breath of the Wild and things like Elden Ring and Mortals Phoenix Rising and Genshin Impact. We've seen things with like Witcher 3 where like games have come out and the quest designers and the quest writers say their inspiration was taken from Witcher 3. Even Ragnarok said that Witcher 3 was their quest, what they looked to. So like for me, when I think of generational, I think of, are we going to see games coming out in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years that say, oh, we saw this done in Starfield and we're trying to build a type of game that's influenced by that. Like that's what I mean. But I think some people think of generational as, is this a game that we're going to be talking about for the entire generation and then still talking about the next generation when we get the Xbox Series Z with the 120 frame. It's the Starfield that's got the 120 frames.
People just call it the Series Z, bro.
And the 8K, and it's the new generation version of Starfield. And we're still talking about it. And Bethesda's saying they just crossed 50 million copies sold on Starfield. Like, that's what some people see as generational. Like, are we still talking about it for generations? And I think both are valid. And ultimately, I think Wesley's right. It's just too early to say. I mean, we can draw our conclusions, but there's no way to know. Everything you said about the game, I completely agree with. Me and Wesley are on cloud 9 with this game. Josh, over to you.
Yeah, dude, thanks for sending that in, man. That was really good to hear. And hear your voice again, too, especially. That's awesome you're having that much of a blast with the game.
You want him to wish sweet, sweet nothings into your ear?
I've really loved hearing you and Diente's impressions on the game and just kind of going back and forth. Because I feel like I'm seeing you two that are just what time you can get in with it, when you can get it in. You guys are just like it's a 10 out of 10. And I'm not saying, putting words in your mouth and saying that's what you guys feel, but just seeing the enthusiasm radiate off you guys. Albino as well. I mean, everybody that's playing Starfield right now is really, really cool. And again, like I said, it's really cool to see, obviously I know you're excited for Boulders too, but this is something you're excited for, and being able to have time to play this as you wait for Boulders to come on Xbox, just really, really cool. You have this now and it's amazing, and then you get that to look forward to. So that's really cool. I'm happy for you because I feel like what's going to happen for everybody is that, by the time, like, I'm playing Boulders now, whereas everyone else is playing Starfield.
Swap.
It's going to swap when we get to Boulders out on Xbox. Everyone's going to be like, this is amazing. And then I'm going to be like, Starfield's amazing. They're going to be like, right? I'm going to be like, right?